power of attorney, right? Because in every mortgage death pledge, in the small print, is power of attorney. You hand it over.
Yep. Well, again, you're giving. That's what I was talking to Phil about today. When you sign up a mortgage or a loan or anything with a bank manager, you're signing. Whatever loan is being done, you're giving it to the person that you're sitting across the table from. Okay, get that through your heads, guys. The dead cannot contract with the living, and vice versa. Only the dead, assumed and presumed to be dead. That's why you will have an all caps name with a company name. So that's the dead contracting the dead. And if you agree to be the dead name, fiction, legal name, to say, I don't know, Bank of America, for example, you go ahead, find me Mr. or Mrs. Bank of America. Yeah, a constrictor indeed. Go ahead, find me them. Now you're starting to see the difference. You've got two corporations dealing there. So what part of the name is yours? Only that which you consent to be. Okay? So keep that in your mind. And when you cut the deal for a house, for example, with a mortgage, to give you an example, and don't worry, I'm not done with this. There's a little letter I'm putting together for, let me see, what was her name? Nora Deller, the retired bank manager for the Bank of Montreal, for the fraud that she committed unknowingly, likely on her part, but doesn't matter. Ignorance of the law is not a defense of it. But it was actually the living deal was done with her. So the money that was created for me to lend to her so she could buy the house. And because she's a slave or was a slave, employee, electromagnetic ploy of consciousness upon itself, right? Deception. For that corporation and the living beings that are on the board of directors. Well, if something happens that, the house that she bought, her agreement is to have someone in there called tenants. And that's what you are. You're a tenant. Look at any mortgage and you'll see it. You're listed as a tenant. Right? And the power of attorney is definitely handed over at that point. Because you see, what you're doing is you're putting everything on the line there. That's why it's called a death pledge. You're putting your entire life, everything on the line there, and you're giving all that authority to whoever's sitting across the desk from you. So it's a pretty big responsibility that they have to deal with. And every loan, every mortgage that any bank manager has ever done, they're liable for it personally. And of course, any companies they work for. Because it was all done through that company. That's I think if you want to get legal on this, you could start spewing the RICO Act. That's the racketeering thing. Okay, because that's all this is. It's just mob, money laundering, and racketeering, extortion, and murder, spiritual murder on a universal scale. That's why this is all coming down. Because we've exposed it. We're not exposing it. It's exposed. Now the word's getting out that what's really happened, and people are starting to go, I get it. Okay, so the deal that you cut with the being sitting across from you. They bought the house that you got to be a tenant in. So as soon as you stop making payments, well, of course, that's the tenant not paying the rent. Of course, that's a double dip as well because, well, the house, not only is the house already paid for, 9 or 10 times over on the original document, fractional reserve banking, the house, you don't even own it, and you think you're paying for something. Even anyone out there that thinks that they own their home, they don't. If there was a loan on that house at any given time in the past, that you don't own it. If you have a legal name attached to it in any way, until you know that you are not the legal name, you don't own it. See, here's the biggest joke of all. If you claim to be a legal name, you don't own anything. And as soon as you understand this, everything that you have acquired in your life, your family, any of the homes and cars and belongings and everything else, can never be touched at all, because it's all, they have to get through you to get to that. And all they need you to do is say, I'm the legal name. And you're fucked. That's here, come on in. You're the host of the party for the parasites. You're the accommodated party, okay? And these werewolves and vampires that come running through your house, they're going to drink all your booze, they're going to smoke all your pot, they're going to eat all your food, they're going to shit all over the place, they're going to destroy furniture, they're going to steal you blind, they're going to empty all the jewelry drawers and everything else, and you invited them.